Hello and welcome to Inside Sports. I'm Wes Decker. Great to have you along this week. And before I get into it, just a few news items from the sports world that I thought I should comment on, because if you look at the headlines, that's one thing, but then you have to sort of sift through and look at the details and see if they support those headlines. For instance, first of all, Sunday night in Seattle, a new world record set for the loudest stadium as the Seahawks' 12th man kicked it up to 136.6 on the decibel meter, setting a brand new mark. But then you look at who held the mark previously. It was in a Turkish soccer stadium back in 2011. Sort of takes just a little of the luster off of it. Saturday night in Las Vegas, it's Floyd Mayweather. He dominates that fight against Canelo Alvarez. Or did he? It goes the distance. The judges get it. Only 2 of the 3 thought that Mayweather won the fight. And then NASCAR, all of the hullabaloo there. What are they going to do to the drivers? They're going to force them to give 100% effort at all times. Seems like that should be a given, doesn't it? You get 100% effort here, and you certainly get details that back up the headlines. And our headlines this week from the world of cross country: Boonsboro races to Interstate Wins. From the week that was in football, the Saints D marches into the end zone. The Warriors win again, and North's rally goes south. All of that and more coming up on the show, and we begin with our featured football game right after this.
Behind every great child, there is a great foundation. Premier Martial Arts will empower your child and give them a premier foundation to success. Our instructors have the passion to teach classes designed to build premier skills. Your child will develop greater self-control, confidence, and concentration. Premier Martial Arts will take your child up the path of greatness. Call Premier Martial Arts today.
Channel has evolved into Fox Sports 1 with the best in live sports programming that fans love. Major League Baseball, NCAA football, UFC, NASCAR, and more. Join the new era in sports with Fox Sports 1 on Antietam Cable Channel 43. Available in HD on Channel 523.
Honey, I just got the mail. We got 6 new bills today.
We don't have enough money.
Mommy, will we still get to live in our house?
It may be time to consider bankruptcy. Call Bodie Law. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family.
Injured on the job? Been denied compensation? Need money for medical bills and lost wages? Know your rights. Insurance companies have lawyers, and so should you. Protect yourself. Call Bodie Law, your Hagerstown legal team, for help at 888-823-1255. It's what we do for you that counts.
Welcome back to the show. Now, we didn't need the Freeman rankings to tell us that our featured game was a good one, but they did provide some validation. The 13th ranked Urbana Hawks, fresh off a win over Dover, Delaware, against the 19th rated North Hagerstown Hubs, just 5 days removed from a victory over the previous number 23 team, Milford Mill. And not just your run-of-the-mill win, arguably the biggest W in the 13-year tenure of North's Dan Cunningham, the winningest coach in program history. And across the field from him, Ryan Hines, credited with bringing back the Urbana football tradition. He captured a state title in his first season with the Hawks in 2010. It was football, literally, on the Mike Callis Stadium turf Thursday night. Urbana won the toss and elected to defer, but North chose to put its defense on the field first, meaning the Hubs would do something rarely seen or desired: kickoff to begin both halves. Starting from their own 20 following a touchback on the opening kickoff, the Hawks handed the ball to tailback Ray Gray, who flashed the speed that netted him 261 yards in Week 1, carrying for 36 on the game's first play to the Hub 44. 3 more Gray runs set up a first down at the 34 and set up the North defense for the initial pass of the night, a short one Pat Coffey caught from quarterback Donovan Pinnell, and quickly turned into a 7-0 Urbana lead with just 99 seconds elapsed in quarter number 1. In danger of going 3 and out on their opening possession, the Hubs offense moved the chains twice, first on Isaiah Key's 22-yard run to the right, and then on Nick Carlin's 14-yard hookup with Preston Carey to the left to the Urbana 14. But that's as far as North would get, setting up kicker Mark Grunberg, who was right down the middle from 39 yards with 5:54 left in the quarter. With its advantage trimmed to 4, Urbana saddled up their horse again, and Gray broke loose for the longest run of his 5 so far, 57 yards to the North Hagerstown 23, putting him over 100 in less than 7 minutes of action. But on 3 of the next 4 plays, the Hawks tried going to the air where the Hub D was equal to the task, forcing a turnover on downs and getting the ball back for the offense. But on 3rd and 7, it was the Urbana defense that turned offensive when Brandon Plant picked off and returned Carlin's pass 37 yards to extend the Hawks' lead to 14-3 with 3:25 left in the opening quarter. And the Urbana defense showed no let-up on North's ensuing series as Willie Schaub's sack ended it in a quick 3 plays. Not to be outdone, though, Hub linebacker Cameron Tibbs returned the favor to finish the Hawks' next possession and close out the first quarter. Now, trailing by 11 and in search of a spark, St. James transfer Bobby Brennan got the call at quarterback for North and proceeded to direct a 7-minute, 6-second drive that got as far as the Urbana 23 before ending in a blocked field goal. The Hawks took over and advanced through the rain to their 42, where Gray converted a key 4th and 1 into a 1st and 10 that on the very next play turned into a 48-yard catch-and-run touchdown when Schaub broke free of Keys and Carey to give Urbana a 20-3 lead at halftime. After rushing for 128 yards in the first half, Ray Gray added every single yard of an 80-yard drive to open the third quarter to his total, capping it with a 51-yard TD romp that made it 19 straight unanswered points for the visitors. Unanswered for all of 12 seconds, that is. Isaiah Keys got North Hagerstown right back into the ball game, going 80 yards to the house on the very next play from scrimmage to pull the Hubs within 26-9 with 9:54 to play in the third. After a defensive stop, the North running game kicked it back into high gear. This time it was Calvin Bembry who carved up the Urbana D for 51 yards all the way to the 2-yard line. 2 plays later, Brennan snuck it in from the 1, and Keys added the 2-point run to slice the Hubs' deficit to 9 with nearly a quarter and a half still to play. The onus was back on the North defense, who, led by Ron Carter, answered the call and forced an Urbana punt. It was then Keys' turn again, and he didn't disappoint. The senior sprinted 87 yards this time, punctuating a 20-point rally that inched the Hubs within 26-23 with 2:04 to go in the third quarter. On the ensuing Urbana possession, North was poised to get the Hawks off the field again until Andre Henry made the momentum-changing play of the game on 3rd down to keep the drive alive, for on the next play, Gray broke through 2 attempted tackles at the line of scrimmage and turned what could have been a very short gain into a 53-yarder to the North Hagerstown 9. From there, it would take the first 4 plays of the fourth quarter, but Pinnell's 1-yard keeper padded a once precarious lead, pushing the Urbana advantage to 2 scores at 33-23. Undaunted, the North Hagerstown offense drove inside the Hawk 35, but 1 play after Keys converted a 3rd down, Brennan lost the football, and in turn, the Hubs lost a prime opportunity to put the pressure back on Urbana, and despite the fact that 6 minutes and 46 seconds remained, they would never threaten again. Urbana would go on to add a late TD, the product of a 3-yard drive, to make the final score 40-23. And while the end result was disappointing for North Hagerstown, experience gained in Week 2 against an opponent of Urbana's caliber can only help going forward. The Hubs showed a great deal of resiliency in cutting a 23-point deficit to 3, but mistakes are often a team's undoing in a close game against a tough opponent, and they were. 2 turnovers without a takeaway, a blocked field goal, giving up 6 plays of 30 yards or more, and allowing 2 of 3 4th down conversions, all overshadowed picking up more first downs and gaining more yards. Speaking of which, in a great battle of the tailbacks, Urbana's Gray finished with 299 yards and a touchdown on 31 carries, while North's Keys wound up running the ball 20 times for 256 yards and 2 TDs. Those 2 and these 2 teams could very well see each other again in Week 11 or 12 on the road to the 3A West Region Championship. Getting there continues on Friday for North at home, and it doesn't exactly get easier as 2-0 Linganore comes to Mike Callis Stadium. Coming to join me in the studio when you come back, representing St. James, footballer Sherman Harris and Justin Pank. Saints in the house next. At Murray's Tire and Auto, we were here for you then, and we're here for you now. While the way we look might have changed over the years, the quality of the work you've come to count on remains the same. From preventive maintenance services to emissions repairs to major and minor mechanical work. Plus, Murray's carries Cooper and other major brands of tires and uses state-of-the-art equipment to accommodate all rim and tire sizes. And now shopping for tires has never been easier. At Murray's, your family's safety behind the wheel is important to us as our own. Enjoy old-fashioned service with all the modern conveniences at Murray's Tire and Auto. Still here for you in Williamsport. Antietam Cable is pleased to announce another exciting innovation, Antietam To Go. Antietam To Go lets you watch TV shows on your computer or portable device, laptop, tablet, smartphone. Watch what you want, when you want, where you want from the most popular networks on television. Power Antietam To Go with Antietam high-speed internet for the perfect entertainment combo. Just visit myactv.net/Antietam To Go to get started. It's TV your way with Antietam To Go, free with your TV subscription. Thank you for being an Antietam Cable customer. Welcome back to Inside Sports. I'm joined now by a couple of St. James football players. Their leading receiver, Sherman Harris, and leading running back, Justin Pank. Welcome to the show, guys. I wanted to talk first a little bit about your win over Hancock on Friday night, a 24-10 victory in a game where I think you probably agree the team got off to a bit of a slow start, down 2-0 at the end of the first quarter, but then the defense, as it's done well so far this year, kind of got things turned around. Sean Tolton picks up a fumble, returns it 29 yards for a touchdown. You have the lead there. Tolton then comes back, intercepts a pass. Ryan Abbott kicks a field goal. A 10-0 lead at halftime. But Sherman, tell me a little bit about the way that first half was unfolding to that point, because the offense really hadn't gotten going yet, and at the half you have a 10-2 lead. So you had to feel pretty good at halftime with the fact that the offense really had not kicked into gear to be up by 8 points.
Right. I think a lot of it came from the safety. Like, at the beginning of the game, we started off slow, our line was slow, and then we got the safety, which, caused us to go down 2 points. And our defense played a lot on the field. I think they played 60 to 70% of the game. And then we came out in the second half and picked everything up.
Yeah, in the second half, it didn't take long. And as a matter of fact, you were the guy who made the big play. Just 3 plays into that second half, Garrett Blank finds you, and you do most of the running on a 64-yard touchdown connection. And from there, really pretty much had the game under control. And Justin, it was not a good night necessarily for the running game. Didn't pick up a lot of yardage on the ground, but that's pretty much the bread and butter for the St. James offense, is to really kind of try to establish that running game. And it might not, as I said, it might not have been the banner night on Friday, but going forward, obviously that's something that you need to be able to establish each and every game to get everything else going.
Yeah, that's where we've had our most success in the past couple of games. In our first 2, our run games have been pretty strong, but just this game has got off to a slow start, like Sherm said, and kind of had to pick it up on defense a little to keep the game going. But
yeah, come out in that first game of the season, and you're over 100 yards rushing in that game. You have 2 backs, as a matter of fact, over 100 yards rushing in that very first game of the season. Since then, it hasn't quite been that type of an offensive style in the last 2 games. What do you attribute to the fact that that's kind of slowed down a little bit?
I guess mental mistakes from the line, maybe even from the backs, not hitting the holes hard enough, not blocking hard enough, but we just got to work on it in practice and improve. So.
Well, that's something you can do as the season goes along, obviously. And, coming off that game on Friday, Sherman, one where, just 156 yards of total offense and only 6 first downs. As you said, the defense was out there a lot. But as a defensive team or a defensive player in a game such as that, where you feel that you can make a game-changing play, is it a little more exciting on the defensive side that maybe you can step in and be a game changer like that and kind of influence the way the rest of the game goes?
Most definitely. I think defense is the most exciting part about football. Especially because you get to hit people and you don't, you're not the one getting hit.
That's right.
And you can make plays, and the change of downs can happen in a second. So I think defense is the most exciting part, yeah.
You have to take some pride in the fact, too, that you forced 6 turnovers in that Hancock game. I mean, that's really getting the job done. And there will be games where it's not 50-50 between the offense and the defense. And if the defense can kind of pick up the offense one game, somewhere down the road the offense likely will pick up the defense. And both of you guys play both ways a lot. So tell me about how that works, because you can have an offense get upset with a defense because they're not doing their part, or a defense get upset with an offense. But when you're playing both ways, it's tough to get upset with yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, because all the blame for everything is kind of put on you at that point, for everything that goes wrong. And so you just got to take responsibility for that and keep going.
Now, speaking of taking responsibility, I think at St. James, a great football tradition had been established for years and years, and not to say that it can't get back there. I think right now that's what's being worked on. Coach John Rutt in his first year talking about, you know, the tradition starting today at St. James. Now, both of you are seniors, so it's a chance to kind of leave your mark on the program this year. How important is it for you, first, Justin, to have a winning season as a senior?
Yeah, it's really important because it just kind of shows that all, like, your time at St. James has kind of been built up to your senior year, and all your work's been put into this sport and kind of, like, just leaving your mark and your legacy.
And Sherman, what sense do you get that this team has the trust in Coach Rutt to go out and buy into and do what he's asking of the team?
I think we trust Coach Rutt a lot. Like Justin said, we all want a winning season, but we got a lot of young guys on the team this year, and you know it's important to make sure that they understand, like, it's about getting better and, you know, progressing, and not it's important to win, but, you know, we have to make them better too.
Sure. And 3 games, 3 fourth-quarter leads, 2 straight wins now. How much confidence does this team have going into this next game against St. John's Catholic Prep?
I think we have a lot of confidence. You know, we're ready for any team to take on. We just got to, you know, stay mentally prepared, not get too confident, work hard this week in practice, and go out on Friday and play hard.
Well, good luck on Friday night, guys, and thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
I'm back right after this with the rest of Week 2's football in just a moment.
I think what makes Beauregard's different is the fact that when the clients come in here, they do feel comfortable.
It doesn't feel like the sterile atmosphere of getting a haircut. It's more of having a conversation with a friend while you're getting a haircut. Being in the sales profession, it's important for me to sell myself, and part of that is my personal appearance. I've yet to encounter a bad haircut from Beauregard's. They've all been very consistent over the past 13 years.
Beauregard's were Northern Avenue, directly across the street from Gold's Gym.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. In Week 1, Washington County Schools won a respectable 5-3 overall on the gridiron. Week 2 proved to be a much rockier road to victory, and if you've been keeping track so far, you know that the county teams we've highlighted to this point have gone 1-2. One of just 4 teams entering their second game with a chance to remain perfect was the Boonsboro Warriors. Boonsboro struck up the band early and late to do just that, defeating FSK 36-13. The Warriors lit up the scoreboard in the latter half of the first quarter to the tune of 3 touchdowns by incorporating all 3 sections of their orchestra. Running back Ethan Foster, representing the offense and the drum line, beat the FSK D like a snare for a 7-0 lead before punt returner Tyler Hollis stood up for the Boonsboro special teams and horn section by blowing through the Eagle coverage, sounding a short field for the offense, who 3 plays later heard Trevor Walsh keep the beat Foster initiated to make it 14-0. Followed by the unit that lays the wood wins with Alexander Wetzel soloing for the defense by recovering a lateral that handed another short field to quarterback and maestro Jeff Bennett, who quickly directed Walsh back to pay dirt for what was a melodic 21-point outburst. Despite the Warriors striking a few discordant notes in the middle quarters, Foster answered the call for an encore in the 4th, keeping sticks to skins to bang out a pair of scores that polished off Boonsboro's second win without a loss. Now, with a 3-0 start at stake, the Warriors tour bus heads for Middletown and a battle with the unbeaten defending 2A state champion Knights on Friday. South Hagerstown didn't enjoy its stay in Frederick County last Thursday. The Rebels created a major catch-22. Yes, they scored first when Isaiah Smith finished off an impressive 11-play, 73-yard drive with a 7-yard run, but it only served to awaken and unleash the stable of speedsters the Thomas Johnson Patriots possess. The Patriots were off to the races after Smith's score, bringing up the game's next 34 points before South could stem the tide, but even Smith's 7th TD in 2 games provided just a temporary reprieve, barely knocking TJ off stride. Thomas Johnson took advantage of the young Rebels secondary. I mentioned a catch-22. How about a catch-18? The number of receptions the Patriots had on the night, with 4 good for touchdowns. South looks to shore things up and return to its winning ways Friday at 2-0 Poolesville. On the topic of winning, the Smithsburg Leopards are learning the hard way that leading in the 4th quarter doesn't automatically equal victory. For the 2nd straight week, the Leopards held the lead in the 4th quarter, and for the 2nd straight week, they exited the period without it. Quarterback Dylan Curtis hit on just 4 passes, but a 44-yarder in the 2nd quarter to Garrett Spinks, And then a 31-yard connection with Taylor Scott in the third, both for touchdowns, staked Smithsburg to a 14-13 lead. But the Leopards, who were out first down, outgained a -2 in turnover margin, were outscored 9-0 in the final 12 minutes to fall to Manchester Valley 22-14. Smithsburg has put just 20 points on the scoreboard in dropping its first 2 games and now hosts a North Carroll team on Friday that's totaled 87 in winning its first 2. Speaking of North Carroll, the Panthers were Williamsport's opponent last Thursday. The Wildcats, like Smithsburg, failed to hold a fourth-quarter lead for the second week in a row, and like Smithsburg, fell to 0-2, although unlike Smithsburg, they lost a shootout, 40-38, and the scoreboard lit up from the opening kickoff on Thursday when Colby Byers' 89-yard return put Williamsport on top 6-0. Byers was only getting started in a first half in which he also hauled in a pair of touchdown passes from QB Savon Brown in the second quarter to give the Cats a 22-20 halftime edge. In the third quarter, Jordan Stonebreaker took over, running for 2 TDs that provided Williamsport a 38-28 advantage heading to the fourth, but that's where the Wildcats' scoring ended. Unfortunately for them, North Carroll's didn't until the Panthers forged in front with just 2:06 left. Through week 2, no county school has scored more points than Williamsport, but no county school other than South has allowed as many either. Perhaps playing on their own field will make the difference. The Wildcats host FSK in their home opener at Williamsport on Friday. The Clear Spring Blazers will finally see an opponent come to their place on Friday, too. The Blazers' problem has been scoring points, not allowing them. While Clear Spring's defense is the stingiest in the county 2 weeks in, its offense is tied for the weakest. Thursday night at Brunswick, backup quarterback Henry Eby's 26-yard touchdown pass to Travis Comer was all the Blazers could muster in a 13-7 setback to the Railroaders. Clear Spring starts the year 0-2 and is now 1-46 all-time versus MVAL opponents. A non-league opponent, 1-1 Petersburg, visits on Friday. In review, week 2 for the county, a less than stellar one, finishing with a collective 2-6 mark. While football fortunes were at one end of the spectrum, cross country was at the complete opposite, and Boonsboro's girls were a huge reason why. 2 of the Interstate Classic winning Warriors sit down to talk about claiming the first big meet of the season next. What's bigger than a baker's dozen and a lot more exciting? Antietam Cable's Sports Plus. 18 extra sports channels. MLB Network, Golf Channel, ESPNU, ESPN News, Big Ten Network, Outdoor Channel, World Fishing Network, Horse Racing TV, Fox College Sports, NFL Network, NFL Red Zone, every touchdown from every game every Sunday during the regular season, and more. Antietam Cable Sports Plus, just $7.99 per month. If you already have a digital box, you can get Sports Plus activated instantly. Call now, 301-797-5000. Welcome back to the show, and I'm joined now by Boonsboro cross-country runners Meggan Grams and Kortney Cunningham. Welcome to the show, girls. Let's start by talking about the Interstate Classic, which I'm sure is still pretty fresh on your minds. And Meggan, first of all, you win the large school girls race, and you do it by setting a course record, a record that had stood for 14 years. You run 18:29.6. Now, from what I understand, you'd never run under 20 minutes before for 3 miles. How in the world does this happen?
Working with our team, they really helped me develop in running better and really helped me correct my form. Like Kortney, she yells at me.
Really? So Kortney yelling at you just makes you run faster, but she can't yell at you during the course of the race, right?
Yeah, but it's in the back of my head. Fix your form. And Coach is saying that too. But she actually says it during the race.
Now, the interesting thing about that is you've been at Williamsport the last 2 years, so you're new to this Boonsboro team, but it sounds like you're fitting in just fine, and obviously going out and winning that race, a great way to be welcomed to the team. There are no qualms there with that. And Kortney, speaking of this particular team, of course, last year you were part of a state championship winning team in 1A. Now you move up to 2A this year. You wind up running 6th at the Interstate Classic. You're kind of the anchor for this team because you're the experienced one. You're the senior. Tell me about what your sense of this team is right now and the potential for this particular group.
I see a lot of potential in our team. We're just we're such a close pack, and our times are so close. And with cross country, it's not about who the fastest girl is. It's about getting your top 5 girls in there, in the top range. And our pack is so close together that I think we have a lot of potential. And I know we can do it in 2A, and from what we've seen already, I know we can do it.
We talked about Meggan's record-breaking time at the Interstate Classic, but you're no stranger to improving your time too. Last year at the state meet, you were 28.5 seconds faster than you were the year before. Have you set individual goals for yourself this year, and this being your senior season?
With each course that I know that I've ran at, like, I'm just trying to improve off of those times because I know what the different courses are, the difficulties, and I'm just trying to improve off of them. And I know, like, I want to beat my overall PR, like, for the season. Like, I want to beat that one by the end of this year too.
And I mentioned you being a senior, and along with junior Ella Hawkins, you were kind of the established stars at Boonsboro. Now you mix in Meggan, of course, who's the junior coming over from Williamsport, and Haley Wright, a sophomore. But before the season even began, you go out and you run the Gary Brown 5-miler, and your coach Becky Walter also ran in that. Now, how does that help you as a group going into the season, kind of establishing that camaraderie that you need for the year ahead?
Just the fact that our coaches can run with us, and we know that they can support what they're saying and be able to help us with the team, and they're running right along beside us, and it helps a lot. And just spending so much time over the summer, like, we've all been training together, so it helps a lot with the team, and we're all familiar with each other, whether it was with track or over the summer training. And we've, like, known Meggan through track competing before.
And you still accepted her to the team. Meggan, let me ask you, what's been your biggest adjustment in coming to Boonsboro?
Probably the school itself, different classes.
Yeah, well,
like,
obviously.
Everybody is so nice there, though. Everybody. Well,
good. I mean, that's a positive thing. I mean, that helps in every aspect. And, you go from being a competitor of Kortney's to being a teammate. Kind of take you back to the MVAL championships at the indoor track and field meet. You edge her out in the 1600 by 0.46 seconds. Now, is there any chance that you ever mention that to her?
No.
You never bring that up to her?
The thoughts never crossed our minds.
Really?
Yeah, we never talked about that.
Wow. Man, you two are just such great teammates. I mean, I thought at some point, I mean, there might be a little bit of, one-upsmanship about that.
We always do that all the time in practice. We always talk about that stuff, like.
Yeah.
Now, Meggan, you weren't able to run at the state cross-country championships last year.
Yeah, I only ran 5 races last year, I think.
And you were 31st in 2A as a freshman. So how much have you been thinking about getting back to that championship course at Hereford this year?
Just trying to stay healthy and strong to do it.
I heard that the course is actually not at Hereford this year.
Really? It's not? Well, I guess you're not too upset about that, I would assume, with all those hills and everything?
Well, I know that we're prepared for the hills, so it wouldn't have made a difference.
Doesn't matter anyway.
No.
Of course, Boonsboro hosts the Frank Kaiser Invitational coming up as the season goes along, and some big dates on the calendar. October 24th is counties, October the 31st being regions, and then the 9th is states. And, you've sort of experienced the evolution of the success of Boonsboro running. What kinds of things have you seen come together to make that happen?
Over the years, I've seen so many people leave and then new faces come in, but it seems like each time the new people coming in have always contributed to the team and our successes, and it's proven in our results each time.
Yeah, the consistency has absolutely been incredible. And by the way, the boys won at the Interstate Classic too, certainly not to shortchange them. As we conclude here on this week's show, coming up next week, all of the Week 3 football action, a look back at a huge volleyball match between the past 2 county champions, North Hagerstown and Williamsport, and the county tournament championships in soccer to talk about, both boys and girls. Thanks to my guests here in this segment, Meggan and Kortney, and thanks to all of you for watching. I'll see you again next week on The Inside.
Hey, your sisters and your brothers, your haters and your lovers, you gotta get up in the streets. Hey, and don't complain to mother, they hiding under color, you gotta get up on your feet. Now I feel it in my bones again. Yeah, feel it, but you're never gonna let it in until you get up